Hey, come on. Hey, what?
Here we go, here we go, here we go now. Let's chit chat, this is the show now.
Come on.
Bad black mama's gonna let you know now. Here we go, here we go, here we go now.
Come on.
Let's chit chat, let's chit chat, let's chit chat, sis. Hey,
What's up?
let's chit chat, let's chit chat, let's chit chat, sis. Hey.
How is everybody doing? How was your week going so far? We're almost at the end of the week. Snowing here. I know it's snowing in VA. So how's it going for you, Keisha and CG?
Well, I got a chance to get out of school early, so yay.
Why they let you out early? Because of the snow?
Early release, the buses, so
Okay.
they could get them. So that was wonderful.
Oh, well, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
CG, how your week going?
Everything's all right. I'm just trying to get everything settled in this house. That's pretty much it. Just trying to get everything settled, cleaned
But
up.
don't rush it, CG. You got a lot of time. You got a lot of time.
There's a lot of stuff I need to cover out here, but I mean, we've had our snow and stuff. It was snowing today a little bit too, but I mean, it's not bad.
Yeah.
I'm finally working from my room. So working from home isn't too bad now that I'm not like, I was in the 1 bedroom and it's like the kitchen's right there. And it's like, now I got my own bedroom. So it's really good now.
It's nice, isn't it? And it's your
Yeah.
place. You look out the window, this is
Mhm.
your place. So, I mean, then you can work on the way you want it. It's gonna be a work in progress, but you can work on, and plus your place is new and it's modern. It's like not like you bought like an old home and you gotta do a lot of fixing up kind of stuff. So
That's
but
true.
at the end
That's
of the
true.
day, it's like my grandmom used to say, when you have your own place,
Mm-hmm.
do as you want. Paint the walls black with a purple heart in the middle. It's still your place.
Mm-hmm.
Do as you please. Make your heart happy, CG, but we happy and proud for you. So tonight episode is cancel culture. And you know what, guys? Everybody is in cancel culture right now. I think that even we think about probably younger people are canceling people, but everybody is in the cancel culture mode. I'm gonna tell you before we get started really into this episode, because I know everybody got a situation where we're gonna talk about why we are in such this cut your ass off kind of mode and move on. I was doing some research today because I just like to have some concrete facts about, whatever topic we do. And on the news pops up, a lady gets married. I don't know if y'all heard of this. The lady gets married. She told her husband at the reception, do not smash cake in my face, the cake in her face. That's tradition. Well, he, just a piece of cake, he smashed her whole face into the cake at the wedding.
Okay.
So she said, no go. There will be no marriage. End. She's filing for an annulment. It's over. So people were commenting like, good for her, and then go file assault charges on him as well. Like, what? I was like, okay, I understand you're upset, but don't it make you think like, it wasn't that serious? Like, I think I would be pissed, maybe even embarrassed. But don't you think it maybe was other problems getting to this point? If you
you don't know the person, or that person didn't know you, and you all not ready. If he couldn't,
y'all not ready.
You're not ready. You weren't
You're not ready. You said we
because he should have known she was serious about that. This is the one thing I don't like. This I don't want this. If you do that anyway, that's a kind of disregard. But I don't know if it's
I was so shocked.
Thing, but
it's like she did.
I know personally, I wouldn't like it. Just put the cake in your mouth.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't like it. But I don't think I would say, don't you think we're a little bit more vested? We at the altar now, don't we? Aren't we a little bit more vested than cake smashing, or what I mean? Because I think I probably would have did something terrible to him at the wedding. You know what I mean? Because when he smashed my face, the cake probably would have flipped, and we would have both had some cake all over us, and then we probably would have laughed it off. I don't know if we would have got to the point where we are not going to be mates now, but that's what happened. No mates, no nothing. And then where people are commenting, go file assault charges, like, damn, where are we at in the world where we are at this point? So that was a little eye opener. Like, we cancel people real quick now. We don't really
Oh,
have any we don't have any and guess what? We did an episode yesterday, me and Chauncey, and we were talking about empathy is not people's quality anymore. You know what I mean? That's just like something you think you're born with. Now it's not even a learned behavior. I think it's missing. It's just like people don't really care. So, all right, I don't care what you do, but just keep this in mind. When I don't like something, I'm just gonna be completely done with you. So, but I think it's not always a bad thing to cut ties with people who are, being given chances. You know what I mean? Because sometimes we can give people too many chances and it become abusive. But I think that canceling people is getting to a point where, this is just my opinion, we're gonna go around. It's getting to the point where people just don't give a damn. So before we get started with your opinion, what is cancel culture? It is simply the idea of just taking your support away from the individual completely. This can be even in your career. This could be saying that somebody is their popularity. You make sure that they don't get your support. They don't get their support, like an artist or something like that. You remove that, and you make sure that they know that their behavior is completely unacceptable. That's what cancel culture is. So, CG, let's start with you.
Man, cancel culture is really weird today. I feel like a lot of this stuff was like, had good intentions, but it's gotten to the point right now where it's like, even if you have legitimate concerns or a rational, pushback on a topic, all you got to be like, all somebody's got to do is just say a couple buzzwords and it's a wrap for you.
Yeah.
They can call you racist, they can call you misogynistic, they call you transphobic, they can call you anything, and that's enough to shut down all communication, any type of like rational discourse, and that's it. Like, you're over, like you can't even get a word in, and it's scary too, because we're seeing it like with a lot of court cases, like a lot of we'll see like, issues out in public, and it's like, whether or not like somebody may have like a case or something, like let's say the Jussie Smollett thing, like we didn't, a lot of us were quiet about it because we knew what it was. We knew what it was. But like, if you were in that type of situation where, you actually came out and were like, yo, this sounds funny. Like, this doesn't make sense, and everybody wants to be a victim with this thing. And it's like, the burden of proof is kind of on you. But it's like, if I question you because I'm like, this doesn't sound right, or if I actually know something about it, or I've actually experienced something, in this realm that you're talking about, and I'm like, oh, you're moving kind of funny in it. I can't even say, like, I can't even challenge you about it, because here comes these drove of people who are like, so emotionally invested in it, and you can't even rationalize any thought. And you're not even allowed to ask these questions no more. So I think it's gone a little too far today, because it's not genuine to me. It's really not. It's not genuine anymore.
I don't believe it's genuine either. Keisha, how you feel?
Well, I think that I think that there's various degrees of cancel culture, and it depends on the situations. For instance, for people that have done crimes, we know we can name some famous people. I don't want to get canceled, so I'm not going to say the name, but some famous people who have done criminal things and they have been canceled for the things that they have done. And then we have situations where we're not just agreeing, like CG said, if you have a variance of opinion of a topic, a subject, and you say one thing and then you can get canceled. Those are the types of things that I believe are going too far. It's in the educational realm. It's definitely in the political realm, where there's a lot of good on both sides, even though I am a staunch Democrat. There are things, but we can't hear each other because things are being so polarized that we
Right.
can't. You just can't hear because we're just vested. So I think that we all in different ways, in different circumstances, do cancel. But my thing is, if I cancel you, I try not to listen to it because I know it makes me upset. I get very passionate about politics, so I'm trying to like hold that down. But we all do, and it has gone too far. I definitely agree 100%.
I agree with you too. I agree with both of you. So I'll pose a couple questions to you. Cancel culture, we see it in politics. We see it, but we see it in politics, but we didn't see it in politics when Donald Trump was in here. We got to keep it real. Nobody canceled him. You know what I mean? They allowed him to have all kind of lewd behavior.
And it's amazing how the domino effect, everybody else around him would get canceled, but him, it's like
he didn't get
what?
canceled. He didn't get canceled.
Well, I know
No.
he didn't.
Nope.
He didn't.
He didn't. Get
And he
canceled.
did some of the same things that I know as far as abuse to women. He was accused of that, and he will have this excuse, and they will go along with it. But
Yeah.
then I think, as CJ was saying, sometimes it'll get kind of like mention that cult like people that is gone too far because they're supporting him and against
If they don't support him, they gonna get canceled.
yeah, yes, there it is.
They don't
Right
support
there.
him, they're gonna
Mhm.
get canceled. That's why we're in the situation
not-
now. So that's one of the reasons why I brought that up. I don't want to harp on him because I don't think he's worthy. Another one, that's just my opinion, y'all. Y'all can cancel my ass. I'll be good with it. But number two, I'm gonna bring up a couple topics. When we look at athletes beating women, okay, and because they beat women, they're Black athletes, they get canceled. You know what I mean? But there's been a history where other athletes have beat women and they're not being canceled. You know what I mean? They have not been canceled. So I think we're picking and choosing who's being canceled. You know what I mean? So we have to look at what the arena is. Do y'all agree that certain people are being canceled and other people are not getting canceled? It's not
Agree.
across the board. Everybody is not getting canceled. Some people need to have their ass canceled and extinguished and wiped away. You know what I mean? Because if you sitting here stomping on somebody's head and because you're an athlete and because you think you got money, that person could have been dead. And some people don't get second chances. Life is over and that's the end of you. But there's some people being drunken rages and whooping the crap out of people and nothing is happening to them at all. Nothing. So I think people are picking and choosing if they're they're an athlete and your skin is one color. And I'm not gonna get in there because that may get me canceled too. So I ain't gonna say that. But I'm just saying I'm giving you a balance on how cancel culture is.
That's true.
Something that is we say everybody's being canceled, but everybody's not really getting canceled, because
But and I think it should be a difference. If crime related, it should be handle whatever the legal system say do. But when it comes to the effect of sometimes you don't have your livelihood, that you cancel so much that you can't make a living for yourself, because you might end up still having to support that person who did that, or you might have kids or whatever, and this situation shouldn't warrant you not being able to provide for them, because then that's a whole nother situation itself. I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna give y'all something. Y'all might say, cut your damn camera off because your ass going crazy. Okay. So when Bill Cosby ass came up to the forum, he had 35 women, wigs twisted backwards, maybe 55 women, wigs twisted backwards. He done molested and drugged them and all kinds of stuff. People canceled Bill Cosby. You know what I mean? He did all this stuff since the 1970s and so on. Me and you, Keisha, are more familiar with that age because we know that popping quaaludes and all that kind of stuff is, was kind of the norm in that period. So I don't condone that kind of behavior. But he was canceled. He was canceled. But people took sides on when they was canceling Bill Cosby. Did they not? Some people canceled Bill Cosby. Some people did not cancel Bill Cosby. because, okay, I'm looking at your faces because yeah, I'm just saying, because I'm just the moderator, and some people
Right.
cancel kind of some
I
people
read I
not.
read the deposition, and his answers were kind of funny to me, so I had to pull back. But
Y'all look
and
like
I don't know if it was because if he's because he didn't want to disclose that information because his wife, he's currently married,
Mhm.
or if it was like this is really some mess that's going on. But that's a really scary thing. Like if you're a guy and you're being accused of a sexual assault in any capacity, and a woman is if you're being accused of that and you didn't do it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you didn't do it, because at the end of the day, your reputation is torn. It's done.
Bing,
And
bing,
then
bing.
and then on top of that too, there's no like when we hear about these issues where men are getting, they're getting these they're getting these charges for rape, or let's say it's even paternity fraud. There's no recourse for it. Your life is over. It's done. There's no,
That's
oh, let's go back to the woman and let's go hold her accountable. No, there's nothing. It's a wrap. It's like, oh, my bad. Like we still see black men today like getting out for like charges from back in the
been
day
in
when it was
jail
like,
for 40
yeah,
years.
been in jail for 40 years plus. And it's like back in the day when they would put them on they would have the jury be like all white people, no like real peers or anything, so they didn't really have a chance. And then it's like there's nothing else for that. I mean, shoot, the woman who accused Emmett Till, I mean, she came out and said,
She
we
still
didn't.
living.
She
She
said,
died. She died with that on her soul, like, and it's
No,
like,
she's still living.
oh, she is still living. I thought she died.
They still want to. They say she can still be charged because there is no statute of limitation on her. She still could be charged. They're not
But-
going to charge her.
But they're not going to.
Let my
So-
black ass do it. They're going to charge me. They're going to charge.
Right.
Me. They're going to
So
charge.
that's a very scary thing. There's certain things that, like, especially as men, black men, like, you're going, like, if somebody tries to accuse you of something, like,
Yeah,
watch out.
It's real bad for you. It's gonna be.
And I'm gonna try. I don't really want to bring in no personal anecdote, but I'm gonna say it, man. I've been at a party where a girl has, slept with multiple people, and then the next day she's like, "Oh, I regretted it. So he raped me." And I'm like, "But you were trying to, get with me too that night. So like, why is it after you got raped, you're trying to get with me afterwards? Like, I don't understand this. Like, can you make this make sense to me?" Like, and so like, I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff that goes on out here with this whole cancel culture. And it's like,
That's what I'm saying. That's the point that I'm trying to prove.
there's points where it's like, I can't defend myself. Like, if and if like somebody like calls you a racist or something, like imagine if you have a legit like argument about certain things within a person's race or whatever, and it's like, it may not necessarily be in the entire race, but it's like, look, I'm talking about this one issue. Like, can we talk about this? And it's like, we can't even have honest conversations anymore because
That's all
everybody's so sensitive about stuff, but they're not sensible about their approach to it. So we can't even have we can't even have an honest conversation about stuff because you're too busy trying to silence me and what I have to say. Because sometimes people are just trying to cancel you because they know you're coming with some stuff, and they don't want you to. They don't want to actually say. They don't want to actually, have to sit back and say, you know what, I was wrong. You have a valid point. Let's explore that.
Point.
They're not even willing to do that.
When you said that, I thought about Colin Kaepernick. The same thing. He got
canceled
because for kneeling, but his point was, and then they made it something else. And he said it wasn't. If a person say it's not this is not why I'm doing it to disrespect people in uniform, service people, military people. I'm doing this because of police brutality.
That's always a big old cop out, man. I hate hearing people say, "Oh, oh no, is she gone?"
Oh, she'll come back.
Oh, we done lost her.
But the next point that I'll wait till she buzzed back in. The biggest thing is, what about people who are homophobic? You know what I mean? Transgender. If you express your opinion about them, think about the heat that comes down on that. You may not be homophobic or transgender, but you say, well, I don't think it's fair that they get to play sports with my kid because that's really a boy and playing with my little girl. So that's really not fair in competition. I just feel like because that's physically the way they're built, that's really, not fair. Well, they'll cancel you. You see what I'm saying? They'll cancel you because now you're homophobic and so on. You can't speak your mind anymore because the simple fact is they'll find a reason to say you are the problem. You know what I mean?
What's crazy is like you're seeing a lot of cancellation by like proxy of the relationships they have with people. And it's sometimes it's not even like the actual people who we're saying is offended. It's like just some person who has a relationship, a connection to other people. Like I was saying about that whole military thing when people are like trying to cancel him and they're like, you should stand for the flag because my so and so died for it. And it's like for me, I'm a veteran. Like I've deployed. Every year, and it is something that I don't really enjoy this. Like I'm on the phone with my guys, like they're not doing well. And it's when they need help, like they're calling me. But when it's like us collectively, like looking for help in this country, it's like these people who are always like, we respect veterans, blah, they aren't there. They aren't on the phone calls with us when when our guys are like getting ready to kill themselves. They're not there. So it's always disgusting for me whenever they're like, oh well, you need to stand for the flag because you're disrespecting the troops. And it's like, y'all don't even give a fuck about us when it really matters. Like you want to fight over this flag, but you're not actually. It's not.
Look at the veteran hospital.
Like you're not
in there.
Like you're gonna fight somebody over a freaking flag. Go to the VA and fight. Go to the VA and fight for that guy who got screwed over on his disability. Go fight for that guy. Don't fight about something symbolic like that. Go actually fight for somebody who actually needs that help. Go out there and help that homeless guy. Go out there and get active in it. And that's where I just like I don't. That's where when I was saying it's not genuine. That's where it really comes in for me because it's like. I hear you. You say you got this flag for us, but when it really comes down, you're not on the front lines with us. You're on the internet. You're on the internet, and you're out here trying to gain attention. I think that's what it's really about is that clout and that attention because social media. I mean, let's keep it real. A lot of people in social media they want that attention because that attention can be used as currency or something later. I mean, look at gosh, I was watching a documentary about. I was watching a documentary with my girlfriend the other day. It was about this woman who was who faked being a 9/11 victim. Like she was from Spain. Yeah, I think it might be on Amazon Prime. She faked being a 9/11 victim. She was in Spain when 9/11 happened. She's not even American. She faked the whole thing. I mean, to the point where she was like the head of it.
From it? Did she get money?
I don't know if she got money, but I know she was like the head of an organization. Like she was organizing all like the victims of it to come together, had a whole story with it. And I mean, it went on for like years and she finally like got caught. She had a whole story made up like, oh, somebody saved me, a fireman saved me, all these things. And it was like, just for attention, I don't know what the problem was, but there's a lot of people out there that are really faking their allegiance, and their association with things just for that
crazy crap.
Just for that, just for that whole, I want that feeling of belonging to something or, whatever. Just like, and that's always weird to me. Like, some stuff just isn't for you. And if, there's certain topics, like we probably will get in certain topics where I'm be like, man, I don't know nothing about that. And I'm not going to jump into I'll be like, I mean, obviously I'm not going to try to come to podcast and be like, I don't know nothing about that. But there might be questions where I'm like, if I want to be honest and have an honest conversation, I can't be involved in that. So I think, this this cancel culture, man, it's harboring, it's making us have a lot of dishonest conversations, man.
It is. And I'm telling you, when I hear people say stuff and I'm like, why the hell are you just like mad and want to cut somebody off about something so petty? Like what's wrong with you? What is the problem? Why is everybody so ready to cut people off? We can't have a conversation. No, and I even found myself because I'm on social media so much. You know what I mean? So I can see so many people comment. I'm like, it's so many people hiding behind social media to say the craziest crap, and just want to cut this person off, want to act like they pissed off about everything. I don't like this and I don't like that. What do you like? You don't like nothing. I mean, you don't like anything at all, but the repercussions is coming. You know what I mean? Because if you think about it, the repercussions is coming.
Welcome back.
I'm on my phone, guys. I don't know what
Oh
happened.
no.
That's all right. It still look fine.
And I can't get on my computer going. So I had to get the phone. What's going on?
I hope it
Everything
works.
plugged up.
Yeah, because I know how that is when your computer is like, I go crazy. But we still at the same point, Keisha. So I'm gonna pose another question to y'all. So I come with these crazy questions. I want y'all to think. Now, when we think about relationships, okay? Now in this day and time, people are in relationships, and instead of communicating, since we're in a cancel culture, instead of like getting rid of their mate, they're having multiple mates now. That's a part of justifying. It is. It's a part of justifying not getting rid of their not cheating, but getting rid of their responsibility to have to be able to say, I am in a committed relationship. It's just open and free now. So they kind of cancel the responsibility and commitment to anybody now. Now, that was a trend, because actually, I don't know if you heard that, Keisha. The trend for 2022 was to have as many partners as a person wanted, instead of being in a monogamous, committed relationship. Because everybody knows what that brings along. That is just it's never easy breezy being in a committed relationship. You got to be able to communicate. You got to go through the ups and downs. And hell, sometimes you just don't even like the person. You know what I mean? Because they get on your nerves. You know what I mean? Let's keep it real.
I think that would complicate the situation, having multiple people. But what I was thinking about, I didn't know that was a trend. But what I was thinking, what was going through my mind as you were saying that was, I remember, you remember B. Smith,
Yeah. What happened with her husband?
Situation, how her husband, he was committed to her. However, he had someone else that was living there, and they was living as a three, and he didn't divorce her because they wanted, and they took care of her.
Because if I had one little brain cell left, that ain't gonna freaking work. I'm telling you, because soon as she come over to pick me up, I take the fork. I be like,
that's here, but hey,
and think about how many people were saying what they were saying about that situation.
Yeah.
That was a hot situation.
It was.
And then what happened? After B. Smith died, they broke up.
Oh, did they?
They broke up. So you kind of think like, what is wrong with people that going on? This stuff going on today is crazy. But that's what's trending. That's
That's another thing about cancel culture. Cancel culture is also sitting here like, I think a lot of people are baiting with this cancel culture by like not necessarily like coming directly at it as like culture. Like, so for example, they'll say, we want to do this, polygamy, whatever. And at the same time, they're making, undercuts about monogamy. And so what they'll do is they'll try to cancel you for being monogamous just so that they can create their little stake over here and say, hey, we can do this. And it's like, yo, if you want to do that, go do it. Like, there's multiple type of relationships that you can have. If that works for you, then stay in your lane. There's no reason, you don't have to, down everything else just to stand on what you want to stand on. And that's kind of where I'm at right now with a lot of things, with a lot of these like relationship talks. It's like, look, if you're not for this, then this conversation is not for you. You can say, if you're not for this, conversation is not for you. So, it's the way out. Go do your thing. I got invited to one of those, polygamy type things. Like somebody asked me, where it was a girl asked me, so I wanted to be in with another guy. I was like, I'm a fair person, so I wasn't like, I was like, let me entertain this conversation. So I started sizing the whole situation up. I'm like, you know, so I was like, so why should I share you with another man? I was like, and on top of that, how much does this man make? What's his credit score? I started asking all these things, and it was like, and I was like, so who's the alpha in this relationship? Because I'm not, you know, because if you know, we all can't lead at the same time. Two men can't lead at the same time. Somebody got to take a back seat. I'm like, because I'm not gonna take a back seat. I'm not taking a back seat. I know how to lead people. So, are you okay with that? Telling that man that he's gonna lead? You know, who gonna be sleeping in a smaller room? Because I'm not sleeping there. You both of y'all can get out. I'm sleeping in the master bedroom. Like, you know what I'm saying? I had these conversations, and then once like, and it's like, okay, so how are we gonna handle finances? Like all these conversations is like, you know, people not really ready to have that conversation. They just want to talk about, you know, and like let's say if it wasn't two guys and a girl, like let's say it's like me and two other women, like I don't even have the tolerance for that realistically, because you know what a lot of guys will push is the sexual fantasy. They'll push the sexual fantasy and stuff. I'm like, yo, this might be an unstable household. Like, I don't really got the tolerance for this, man. Like, I'm already an introvert as is, so it takes a little bit of time for me to warm up with people. I need my space sometimes. So, like, that's not a fantasy for me. It really isn't. Like, I want one person. I want one person. I don't want all these damn people around me, because I don't have to deal with you, your friend. No, I don't want all that. But yeah, I think a lot of cancel culture is like, let me bait this person in a discussion, and then when they don't agree with my standpoint, let me try to cancel them. Like, so here's an example. On a TikTok, you got this thing called Messy Talk. And Messy Talk is kind of like yeah, man, when you get it, you look at this, you're gonna be like, what in the hell? So Messy Talk is like, all right, a lot of people got mental health issues, and what they're doing is they're posting the messes in their homes. And it's a lot of women who have kids, you know, in the household, and their houses are a freaking mess. And it's like what they're trying to do is normalize, you know, their episodes and everything and what comes with it. And if you call them out and say, your house is a mess and it's disgusting and you shouldn't be making your kids live through that, what they're doing is they're trying to bait you in to say, cancel that person, because they're trying to make what they're doing valid. Like, and like I said, if that works for you, it works for you, but stop trying to bait us in to normalize stuff so that you can try to cancel us later. Like that's kind of where, yeah, I'm not really feeling the whole.
People don't see nothing wrong with that, CG. What'd you say, Keisha?
Not for you. It's not for you. Don't hate me because I don't like it, because I'm not going to do that to you. I just like, if I don't want to watch it, I don't. If I don't want to hear it, I don't. If I don't want to be involved with it, I won't. And then that's it. I won't bother you. I'm like, do you, boo?
Like, you ain't got to pull me in. Like, you ain't got to pull me in to garner support. Go find your tribe of people. Like, I feel like they try to bait us in so that they can cancel us to get more like attention. And it's like, you don't got to do it.
Well, let me just say.
But I have learned a lot because I didn't know about messy talk.
I'm gonna go
look at Messy Talk.
I'm going to go look for that though, CG. But you know, I said I was gonna keep this episode short and to the point. And I'm gonna say I'm so happy that it was us our little group on here, because this was a really, really good episode. It really was. And CG, you blew this episode up. I'm just gonna tell you.
I'm telling you, look at Messy Talk. It's going. Hey, man, you know, as somebody who's dealt with mental health issues, and you know, within my family and within myself, you know, it really bothered me, because I was like, man, you know, these people, they want to change, they want to push a narrative for themselves. Yeah. And it's like, it can be a selfish agenda at sometimes. And it's like, those of us who realistically deal with this stuff, you know, day in and day out, we understand that, like, it's not as, you know, it's not this fantasy that you're pushing. Right. And like I said, a lot of this stuff in cancel culture is to prevent us from having realistic and honest conversations about stuff, you know, the good, the pros and the cons. And it's not fair, man, because it's really bullying you into like, hey, if you're not ready to talk about it from my side, and I get it, there are going to be things that are like, you know, this is kind of like, all right, you've crossed the line. I get it. But then there's certain things where it's like, this is really petty. You're really trying to cancel, like you're really trying to cancel me over
That's
this,
the
like
biggest one. It's so
this
petty. What's wrong with you?
this small thing. And it's like all somebody's got to do is like, if I can say one thing that you disagree with, that's enough for you to slander my entire name and then put me under this entire under a a label that's going to ruin my reputation or whatever. And it's like, but that's just like one little topic. Like we ain't talked about it in its entirety yet. So,
Mhm.
there's no need for us to really to take it to that level,
Right. So I think we hit it on point, and I just say this much in closing. Cancel culture is probably here to stay. If you get canceled, don't get your feelings on on your shoulders. You just get canceled. Just believe in what you believe in. That's my opinion. Because I'm not even gonna care if you cancel me. But I know what I love and what I'm going to do. I think that really destroys people's self-esteem. And people have to work on being their own better self. So, in closing, any final thoughts, Keisha?
Final thoughts. Cancel culture.
Don't get canceled.
Just for me, yeah, don't get stay, you stay in your own lane. You can have your opinion, and if it's going to be the detriment of someone else, maybe you need to just keep your opinion.
Man, I just hope one day, I hope our society advances to the point that, we can at least recognize people, within their state. If they were, if they had a different opinion like 10, 15 years ago, like that they have the opportunity for growth and for change,
Yeah.
and, allow them to, have that moment. Like, I don't think we should always be like looking at somebody's past 20 years if they've shown like consistency over a matter of years afterwards, like, hey, they've actually assumed a different position or whatnot. Like, we should at least give them that leeway to change their stance, because that's part. I mean, it's not enough to cancel people. You can't cancel everything. Sometimes we got to rehabilitate people. We got to put them on game to things, and show them different things. And that's a lot better than just trying to shut them out, because eventually you shut out enough people, all you're going to do is create animosity. You're going to create a bunch of pissed off people, and then you're going to grow a tribe of people who are going to be like, you know what, I don't care what you have to say. And we have freedom of speech, like no matter what. You're not going to be able to silence people forever.
Nope.
So
Nope. It's gonna be just back and forth, and nobody ever gonna be able to. Without communication, it will be no relationships and there will be no growth. Communication is everything. So that concludes our episode for tonight. I think it was really good. So stay tuned for our after show. I'm your girl Kimmy, and joining me tonight on the porch is
Keisha.
CG.
All right. So we will join you again next Wednesday. See, you can always join us on our platforms on Let's Chit Chat Sis on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So have a good night on purpose. Good night.